Story: the game begins with the player speaking with a disembodied voice, identified as Arceus, the creator deity of the Pokémon-Universe, which tasks the player with encountering all Pokémon in the Hisui region before transporting the player there through a rift in spacetime. The player is found by Pokémon researcher Professor Laventon, who brings the player to a local settlement named Jubilife Village. There, the player is recruited into the Survey Corps of the Galaxy Expedition Team, a group that has arrived in Hisui to chart and study the region. After receiving their starter Pokémon, the player proceeds to travel the Hisui region to complete the Pokédex. Throughout the player's journey, the spacetime rift they had been transported through results in several powerful noble Pokémon venerated by the local Diamond and Pearl clans turning berserk through powerful lightning, forcing the player to engage them in battles using bombs to calm them down. After the player defeats 5 noble Pokémon, the spacetime rift begins to worsen rather than calm down as per the Galaxy team's expectations, and the sky turns an ominous red color, blamed for the instability. The player, who came through the same rift, is banished from Jubilife Village by Commander Kamadou, leader of the Galaxy team, and forced to travel the region again to address the cause of the rift. Working with either the Diamond or Pearl clans and under the care of a folklore researcher called Kajuda, the player travels to the 3 major lakes of the region to encounter the legendary Pokémon Azelf, Mesprit, and Uxie, the 3 beings that embody willpower, emotion, and knowledge, respectively. Once the player passes their trials, the 3 provide materials to craft the red chain needed to stop the rift. After defeating Commander Kamadou at the summit, the player reaches the peak of Mount Coronet, the Temple of Sinnoh, at the center of the region. Depending on the clan the player worked with, either Dialga, Diamond Clan, or Palkia, Pearl Clan, appears first, breaks the red chain, and is caught by the player before their enraged counterpart emerges, using the fragments of the red chain. A special Pokeball capable of capturing the other legendary Pokémon is crafted. The player battles the legendary Pokémon in its origin for me and captures it, sealing the spacetime rift. In the post-game, the player teams up with Volo, a member of the Ginkgo Guild merchant group who assisted the player throughout the game, to seek out all of the plates associated with Arceus. Through this journey, the player encounters a number of other legendary Pokémon, each one holding a plate. Arriving at the Temple of Sinnoh for the last plate, Volo betrays the player and attempts to steal the plates from the player to draw out Arceus and subjugate it to make a new world. Volo also reveals he allied himself with Giratina to open the spacetime rift in a failed attempt to drive out Arceus, sending the legendary Cot at the end of the game mad. The player defeats both Volo and Giratina, securing the final plate and transforming the player's Celestica flute item into the Azure Flute. Once all other Pokémon, excluding Shaymin and Darkrai, which are only obtainable with save data from other games, have been captured, the player can play the Azure Flute at the Temple of Sinnoh to encounter Arceus. After the player proves themselves in battle, Arceus bestows upon them a part of itself, so that it may explore the world that it created by the player's side.